Hello there, and welcome to my arty corner of YouTube. My name's Angela, and I really enjoy drawing, but more importantly, I also really enjoy encouraging other people to draw or to create, and to do it just for pleasure. Not because the world is judging you in any kind of way, because when you work in a sketchbook, you can show people it or not. You can keep it to yourself or share it with close ones, other arty people, or with the world, depending on your choice. And I'm working in a sketchbook at the moment today, and this is my smaller lettering sketchbook. It's roughly about an A5 sized sketchbook. It's by Sakura, and it's got some interesting paper in it. It's sort of like ivory coloured, and it hasn't got a heavy tooth on it, but it has some tooth, and I'm quite enjoy drawing on it. I find the warmness and the slightly muted nature of the ivory paper easier on my eyes, not so harsh and bright, and it will take, if I show you, some mixed media. This one I did by, I'd actually put Neocolours on the paper, and the paper didn't like the water very much. So I put a layer of clear gesso over the top before I drew on it. And that clear gesso just sealed the Neocolour in, it repaired the surface of the paper, and I was able to draw on it with micron pens. I'm not all that happy with this, and I'll come to all of this in a moment. I think the lettering is too fine. Indeed, it's too thin to stand out. I think I could have done with putting the lettering in and leaving it there without all of this. I actually drew all of these in and then realised I had a space here for it. But I like the quote. I like it. Being an artist is the same as being a wizard, only instead of a wand, use a pencil for your magic. Excuse me. Oh gosh, that came on suddenly. All right, so I've been drawing in this for a while, and there are some things in here I really like. This, thank you so very much, I did for 750 subscribers, when I hit 750 subscribers here. And with that word subscriber, I'd like to thank everybody who's subscribed. I think I'm just over 800 now. So this I did about 2 weeks ago, because I hit 750. So thank you for everybody who's joined since then. I appreciate you very much, but I also appreciate everybody who subscribed before that. And if you are here new for the first time, it doesn't cost you a penny to click the subscribe button. It's completely free. And all it does is it shows that you're supporting my work, or you like my channel and you like what you see. So that would be fantastic if you do that. In the same way, it's always fantastic when somebody gives thumbs up for videos. It gives me a clue as to whether, well, I should say, it doesn't matter whether people like it or not. I'm doing it anyway. But I do want to create content that is relevant to you, because sometimes things aren't, and today's may not be. And I'm aware of that, but it's Saturday and it's my day. So this is it's a double page spread, and I've done things that are like the thank you there, that are quite sort of like hand lettering kind of art, but it's not sitting well with me. It never feels quite right. When I look at it, I think, and you shouldn't compare yourself with other people, but I'm learning something, and I look at others and I'm thinking, how do you manage to put that together? My brain doesn't work that way, to do that kind of layout or to organise lettering and so on. My brain's more, I suppose, doodle arty, I suppose, for want of a better word. And this is that kind of thing. It's sort of like I was just sat drawing whilst I was watching. I wasn't watching, I was listening to television. And all of this just suddenly flowed and off we went. And I had a lot of fun doing it. But it's still doesn't feel quite right. There's something not quite right here, and I'm not sure what it is. I think I may have cracked it, I may not have, but we'll see. I don't know for sure is the answer. I like that one as well. It combines my kind of entangled art with lettering, which is what I want to do. I did do, if we just flick back a moment. Can I find it? Must probably not. Is it around here in between things? No, I can't find it now. But I'd done a monogram with all of this kind of stuff around it, and it just doesn't sit right with me. I've got lots of alphabets in here, though, and lettering examples I've done as well as notes for things. Sketchbooks, scribbling down ideas. I'm doing a poster that involves hand lettering, about, you know, looking after the earth, doing what we can to recycle and reuse and upcycle and repair and compost and plants, and looking after our restoring habitats, protecting habitats. Because we're all part of the huge web of life on Earth. There's no living thing on this earth can exist without all the others, surprisingly, or have a healthy one. Yeah, I'm an environmental pollution scientist, what can I say, as well as chemist. And then this morning, I was drawing this, and just a warning, I'm a bit out of sorts today, nothing to worry about. And I'm not saying that because I want sympathy or whatever. I've just got some emotional weather on the go, and it happens. It may be that today is just a grey day. It may be that I haven't slept properly, or, you know, it's just one of those days. And I'll be, you know, I'm content enough, but part of me is sort of like, ugh. And so, you know, you go with the flow. It's sort of like, it is what it is, and I'll be fine soon enough. But it started with, I think it started the day before, with things like just because, why not, having fun. So why I was drawing this. And then last night it changed to still trying to find my style. Is it a mess? Why am I so quirky? Do I judge my art too harshly as I've just done that? What if this is my style? Can I work with it? Why can't I accept my quirky art? And this is the crux of the matter. It's that acceptance that this is how I do things. And it's something that I think that we, you know, all creatives, I suppose everybody has to eventually accept that this is how I do it. It might be like somebody else's, but this is how I do it. And it's that acceptance that what I do is good enough. And I wish I put that in there. Is it good enough? In fact, I will pop that in here. I'm likely to go very quiet for a moment. So, you know, just bear with me and just see what I'm going to do. Where can I put that in here? I think I almost want to whisper it. So I think I might put it in this bottom corner here. Perhaps have the panel just... Is it, or am I? Is my art good enough? I'm doing it in pencil. I'm just spreading this out just that little bit, because then I can adjust the spacing and whatever as I ink in. I don't do drawing in pencil exactly with all the details, bells and whistles, because I know that I won't be able to exactly replicate it. So I'm going to do some kind of... See, that M is a bit wonky, but it's fine. And I think I'll put art slightly bigger, maybe. This is basically my handwriting. Seriously, it is. And then we'll do the enough. And yet the letters are all different sizes, and that is here is quite deliberate. All a bit wobbly and wonky, because my art is all wobbly and wonky. Or I'm happy to embrace the wonkiness in my art. Lots of question marks. And I'm going to add that here, even though everything else here is pretty positive. It's likely that, you know, these might actually flow one into another. So this is all about me trying to find my way with this. So you're getting some of it inflicted on you, because I've said this before, and I'll say it again, no doubt many times. The reason I started a YouTube channel was when I had the realization that I don't think in words. I'm not aware often of what my thinking process is. And I found this out when I discovered a proper psychological article, psychiatric article, about inner monologues. And we all have an inner monologue. We talk to ourselves in our minds constantly. And I do have a voice in my mind. We all have voices in our mind, and we've all got an inner critic. And my inner critic is the one that I hear in words. Oh, what on earth are you doing that for? Oh, that is useless. You know, things like that. Oh, look at that, you've messed it all up again. And that's beginning to happen here, because I really am messing up thickening this line, but it'll be what it is now. And it's a case of, in the article it said, you know, there are people who have inner monologues where they do talk to themselves, you know, in words, or, you know, when they're thinking, they think in words. And it's always puzzled me, because I've known that I don't really think in words, and I don't sit and think and cogitate, but I seem to think things through and have answers to things and opinions when somebody asks me, when I'm forced to speak them out loud. I can write about things, but it's a different kind of thinking, a different kind of expression, I think. I say I think a lot, and I'm not sure whether I mean think or whether I'm thinking out loud, but I seem to communicate with myself in a different way when I write as to when I talk out loud. It's probably because writing slows down the thought process, whereas speaking out loud allows it just to flow perhaps a bit faster and naturally, in the way that I would if I was speaking to somebody, which I am. I'm speaking to you, and I'm speaking to myself. So this is the reason I started a YouTube channel. And I've lost the point of why I started talking about that. But this gives me something here now today. I'm out of sorts because I really don't know where I'm going with all of this. But I also know that these will be things that you will encounter, or you will have already encountered and will think about. And I don't have any answers as to how to push through it, other than just don't listen to that inner critic. And also, don't compare your own work to other people's. Yes, look at others, gain inspiration. But do things, accept that you're not going to draw the same as somebody else. And you may make lines that are wobblier than mine. You may make them straighter than mine. You may make you may like a pattern or a way somebody lays work out, but you take inspiration from that because yours doesn't look exactly like that when you try it. And that's perfectly, perfectly fine. There's nothing at all wrong with us being different. In fact, I think it's essential. But it's learning to embrace that. And when you're learning something new, which is what I'm doing here with the hand lettering stuff, it can be quite daunting, and it provokes that inner critic to tell you that you are actually not doing a very good job of it, that what you're doing is useless, and it causes me to doubt myself hugely, and, you know, all of that usual rubbish that we get from it. But I just carry on regardless, because I just go, well, it's only paper, it's only pen, and I might learn something through exploring this, having a go at it, even if it's discovering, nope, it's not for me. But I keep coming back to this kind of stuff, so there must be something in it that makes me stop and think that, or, you know, that perhaps this is a part of the way I want to express myself. Perhaps it's one part of the harmony of my heart song when it comes to art. Because I'm already beginning to smile now that I've tucked these little characters in amongst these tentacles. And that really has made, you know, it's picking me up. I do get days like this, we all do, don't we, where for no apparent reason we're just feeling a bit, well, meh. And it's a meh day. Part of me thinks perhaps I should have gone back to bed and gone back to sleep and got up again. Because that sometimes does the trick. But for now, I'm just happy to sit and draw and witter on about stuff. And hope that I don't drive you all away. And this is real-time drawing. It's not sped up in any kind of way, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing, so that if you wish to have a go at something, then you can. You know, something mysterious. There is something mysterious here, that's for sure. Oh, that's a weird shaped tentacle, but you know what? We're going to work with it. Because really, who's to say what shape tentacles can be in my little weird world? And this one's all squashed down, isn't it, towards the bottom? It's very bulbous at the bottom. And this may just be what I need today. You know, maybe that I'm just pushing myself that little bit too much when it comes to working with a hand lettering, because there's hand lettering on the poster I said I'm working on. And it may be that I'm just doubting myself through that. That's a very strange one, but it's okay. We can live with strange tentacles. And perhaps that's having a kickback as well. I don't know for sure. Now here I'm going to make use of this patch there to put my black stripe on. Make the black stripe wider than that section there. But I can use a white gel pen to put that sparkle back in. By sparkle I mean that little highlight that's in between or in the middle of the black areas. Or I could just have a non-shiny tentacle here. One thing I always know is that no matter what, just the process of drawing will help me shift my mood or give me that time and space I need. So there we are, we've got plenty of tentacles there. Now then, I need to do something to actually fill some of this spacing, because I just feel I might need to. Maybe that I'll actually fill, I wonder, because it might be fun for me to try to there, we got one curling around. To actually fill in with bigger motifs and then see how I do any infills, because I could use a coloured pen for that. Oh, that I like, it's really... I like this one, this tentacle. What I also like about these tentacles is that even though black areas are sort of like matching up, because they don't match up exactly, you can still see the individual shape of the tentacles. So I'm going to just thicken some edges just to help with that. So there we are, we've got marauding tentacles. And I just feel I might just pop one here. Okay, so I'm going to have a stripe going there because I wanted to correct the shape of this tentacle, and that's fine, I can do that. And we'll have another stripe there. And that's my tip if you're going to be drawing tentacles like this, is don't worry too much if the black areas coincide, but try to make them so that they're slightly different sizes or they don't completely match up at the edge. Even if they do, as long as the angles are different, you'll see that they belong to different tentacles. And that's fine. Okay, let's create the black one there before I pop one in here, and perhaps just a bit at the end. So I've got plenty of them there. That one's giving me a hug, the best of my ability. Perhaps that one can just go up like that. It's quite fun. Do I want any more down here? I don't think so. I think I'll do something else down this area, because I just think that we are getting to the realms of... I've got enough tentacles for now. I think what I'll do is I'll have some seeds that look a bit like eyes being juggled by the tentacles, maybe. So this is one of my favourite motifs, so I may be going back here to sort of like almost like comfort drawing. Something that's quite familiar, even though the hand lettering has pushed me beyond the comfort a bit. Just a bit. It's still nice to use patterns and so on that I find, say, familiar and comforting, and they're my favourite kinds of ones. I like these because they look like eyes. There is a bit of a macabre touch to me, or spooky touch, but it's always cutely spooky. I don't want violence and horror for the sake of it. I know some people love that, but it's not me. Partly because I find it boring and partly because I find it quite disturbing. And when it resembles real life, which is particularly icky a lot of the time, let's be honest. If I've got the choice between things that make me smile, then it's always things that will make me smile and restore my faith in goodness when it wanes somewhat, because it does. As it does with all of us from time to time. Okay, we'll get one tucked in behind my frame there. I think that frame, the outer edge, needs to be made thicker because it's getting lost. So let me go and find a thicker pen. I've got an 05 here. Always best to start thin, and then you can always make things thicker if you want to. And I do right the way around the outside edge. And if I don't exactly copy the line, I'm not going to fret too much about it. That one, the lumps and bumps in that particular line, actually, it's a function of the paper. I could feel the roughness of the paper as I was drawing my pen over. And it's not where I've drawn previously, it is the roughness of the paper. It's skittered across there. So that's quite nice, because that dark line will help it stand out. So that's fun. Okie dokes, let's have a look. I put a little heart there with the loveliest things, because I can. Okay, and perhaps just another one here just to fill that little, I say fill that little gap in, but to enclose spaces. You say you shouldn't really enclose little spaces. It's not a good thing for design and so on. Well, nature doesn't leave empty spaces, is my answer. But seriously, it's all about I do want to make sure that if I come to colouring or adding pattern, I have got those enclosed spaces where I can add the pattern in. And talking of that, let's do some, because I think I might use some colour. And what I've got is just thought about these. I know they were down here. You can hear them rattling. And I think I may use, I've got this. These are Zig writers. They're acid free, they're archival, they've got pigment inks in. You do need to keep them horizontal because they've got a shared ink reservoir. So if you put them one end or the other, then one end will get all the ink and the other end will dry out. Not that I'd be too upset with these because I don't really use the one, although I have been known to use the 1.2mm. Now I've got choices to make. Do I go with blue or shall I go with this reddy brown or some other colour? It's not, I've got purples and magentas in there, which are some of my favourite colours. I've got greens. I've got bluey grey. What colour's that? It's denim. No, I don't think, I'm not feeling the denim. I've got this colour, which is steel grey. I think I'm going to go with the brown because I haven't used a brown micron for a while. I have got some somewhere here, but I'm just not quite sure where. Did I see one over here? I did see one over here because this had dried out. I think I put it point down to see if I could get it working again. And it's not really, so I'm guessing that it's dried out, so I'll pop it back there. Okay, so let's have this end. The finer end's 0.5mm, but it should be fine for what I want to do. So what's the worst that's going to happen? I don't like it. So I'm just going to fill these sections in with some very fine lines. Disappointed with the Micron for having dried itself up because I hadn't used it for a little while. Gutted about that. And the brown ones, especially the 0.1s, I think that's a 0.1 or a 0.2, are really hard to come by in the UK. Like a lot of things are really hard to come by at this time. I'm hoping today that one of my orders of Elegant Writers by Speedball arrives. These were pens I discovered watching a video on YouTube. And the ink in them is interesting because it's water-based, and when you put it down, it's not waterproof, but when you activate it with water, the ink spreads beautifully. Get different colours in it, sort of blues and greens, and there's even a pink, especially if you pick the ink up. And when it dries permanently, like Inktense pencils, which will react with water the once, and then they're permanent. And the colours look amazing, and I'm just thinking that could be the answer to me having things that, you know, for shadows and so on, to create this amazing colour. So I'm looking forward to having those and having a go with them. But I don't know whether they're going, because my favourite pen shop is having a clear out sale of just the couple of things they've got. They've got packs of coloured ones of them. I'm not really interested in the coloured ones, to be honest. It's the black that gets me, though. It would be nice to know how the other colours will spread. Actually, that looks quite fun. This isn't something I'd normally do, by the way. I really wouldn't. It's not usually my way of working. But we'll just see what happens here. But I think that's actually worked out okay. What do you think? Is it? You can leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. But I like my tentacles. I like the... Oh! Just get the other end. There's a little bit here I'm going to pop some brown behind as well, just there. Because I think that just acts really quite nicely. So instead of filling the background in with pattern or colour, I'm using pattern, but I'm just essentially using a simple pattern and colour. And I quite like that. So I think I just need a couple more of my eyeballs. I'm sure they're not really eyeballs, but they remind me of this. I'd be happy if we could have Halloween all year round. A bit like, you know, not the fun of it. I love Halloweeny things. But it's the cute and the cuddly, particularly, I like. And I do have a bit of a thing about skulls. I've said before, I used to be I was a science teacher for 28 years. And I often had the school skeleton living in my lab. Because my pupils thought it was brilliant. Once they, you know, it was a real skeleton as well. Nowadays you get models, but this one was bought when the school was newly built back in the early 60s. And it was quite common then to have real skeletons. And so they were both freaked out and fascinated by this. And eventually, you know, sort of like, oh, miss, you're touching a dead person. Yeah, but they're dead. I don't mind. It's their bones, you know. And they'd pluck up courage and touch them. And then it was one of those things like, well, if we get through our work, I'll get the skeleton out. And yes, you can touch the bones, but no, you can't play with it. It's not a toy. So... And they were always really, really respectful with it, which was lovely. You know, because it was the inside of a person once. So, you know, it's you know, you still treat it with respect. But yeah, things I used to do. So I think, you know, things like this, you know, with the hints of, as I say, the macabre, or the slightly spooky and cutely spooky and, you know, monstrous, I suppose, in the nicest way, then it suits me down to the ground, really. I'm so glad. Do you know, I'm beginning to smile now properly, not, you know, I'm happy I'm doing this. So just goes to show the weather does pass, the emotional weather, just as the weather in the, you know, in nature does. Well, it certainly does here in the UK. You know, I've got some bits of, oh gosh, there's bits of blue sky now. The grey clouds have gone. So that's good timing, isn't it? It's my spirits being lifted here as I'm drawing, and the weather's changed accordingly as well. Well, not entirely. I think we've got a dampish day forecast, but it's fine. Okay, let's do some of this in there. And with this, I am going to respect my pencil lines when I add this textured background, because I still want the idea that these are spilling out, and that will really give that kind of idea. So how do you think that's going on? Is that beginning to make some kind of sense here? Possibly. Possibly. We'll see, won't we? So I'm going to leave that here for today, because I'm going to spend some time with this and deciding exactly what I'm going to do. I've got work to do as well, so I need to be a bit more upbeat for that, though, I think, because I know when I'm in this mood, if I try to work, whatever I do, I won't be happy with, and I'll just get myself into a right funk. Whereas this, it's sort of work, but it's not, if that makes sense. And to spend time with something like this is lovely. I'm wondering if I can be brave enough to head out to a cafe for a late lunch. Maybe. I'll see. So anyway, so I'm going to leave you with this. And just remember that, you know, sometimes we get disheartened. I get disheartened with what I'm doing, or can't see the good in it. And sometimes it takes a break from the art to look back after a while and go, yeah, actually, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was at the time. And to see how you could improve it, or the things to learn from it. And even if you don't like it, there are still things to learn. And when you're learning something new, when you're trying new things out, then sometimes there's this place I get to, you get to, where you just so dissatisfied with everything, or that it's difficult to accept what you're doing, that it's good enough, that it's a self-expression, because it's not like other people, so it's not what other people are doing. And I just think that we need to embrace what we're doing as if it's us, and just to see what happens. So with no further ado than that, I'm just going to encourage you to explore and have fun with your art, because I am having fun. I'm not the most upbeat today, but I am having fun with this. And I know that at the end of it all, by the time I filled this page in, hopefully that use of colour will make that difference to this, and I'll feel better about this, about stuff like this going forward. We'll see. So take care, look after yourself, enjoy the weekend, and my next video, if you're watching this Saturday or Sunday, will be Monday. But if you've subscribed, click the notification button and you'll know when I release one. You'll get notified. So until I see you in the next video, take care and be creative. Bye-bye for now. Bye. Hwyl. Hwyl fawr.